The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the crickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows in the street of the lifted Lorax. And the deep and deep in the crickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the crickle grass grows. The old Wansler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Wansler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurking on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of miffle muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 50 cents, and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovelous gloves. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secret I tell are your ears alone. Slop! Down slops a whisper my phone to your ear. And the old Wansler whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a sneggerly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted out and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time ago. Way back in the day when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swoomy swams rang out in space. One morning, I came to the glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the tree I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits, as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippled ponds came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Splash, splash. But those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their turfs was much softer than silk, and they had this sweet smell of fresh buttery milk. I felt great leaping of joy, my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I'd uploaded my car. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down the truffula trees with one chop. And with great skillful skills, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft turf and knitted a need. The instant I finished, I heard gazoo. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffle tufts? Look, Lorax, I said. There's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thnid. A thnid, a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it as for a carpet, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who will buy that full need. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the knit I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in quick calls. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Wonsler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road in North Nitch, turn left in Weehawkins, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Wonsler family was working full tilt. They were on it in need, just as busy as bees, the sound of the shopping of truffle trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Not chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax, who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffle foods. Now, thank you for hacking my trees to the ground, and there's not enough truffle fruits to go around. And my poor barbaloots are all getting their crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Wonsler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagon, I biggered the loads of the needs. I shipped out, I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more grapes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffled. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snarkled, he sniffed. Wansler, he cried with a querulous croak. Wansler, you're making such a smuggless smoke. My poor swoomy swams. Why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smug in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smug you smugged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax. He dandered was up. Let me say a few words about gloopity glop. Your machinery chugs on, day and night without stop, making gloopity glop, also scoopity sklop. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, dirty old Aunt Wansler man. You're glumping the ponds where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woolly weary, in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say ba 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 ba. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truffle trees into needs, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside the fields came a snickering smack of axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees, no more trees, no more needs. No more work to be done. So when sometime my uncles, and aunts, everyone all waved me goodbye, they jumped into my car and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left, 'neath the bad-smelling sky, was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, backwards glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hasted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smug without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless, whatever that means. Well, I just couldn't guess. That was a long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Wansler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot. Nothing's going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Wansler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula tree. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from the axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. The end.